So, what is up guys? I know it's been a while, but today we're actually going to be talking about Birgitta? I don't know how to pronounce her, Burger Girl. We're just going to talk about her because, yes, her animations look amazing, but she's been out for a few days now, and a lot of people are actually wondering if she's actually worth pulling for because there are a lot of mixed opinions about her. Now, if you guys aren't too sure what she actually does, aside from, her amazing animations, let's actually talk about her skills very quickly and basically what I think Smilegate was going for with her designs. So, her S3, pretty long cooldown, it's 5 turns. It has a built-in ignore effect resist if you consume 20 souls with it and use the soul burn effect. And from a single enemy, you will actually strip all buffs and also inflict bind and block. Now bind, obviously you guys know you can't actually activate your additional skills like your S2 and stuff like that, such as Janua's passive. You can't counterattack and you can't dual attack. And we also have block here, which is going to make it so that you cannot be affected by buffs and I guess some beneficial effects. So basically, kind of very similar to Falconer Clary's S3, except the debuffs are a little bit different, right? Instead of defense break and provoke, you have bind and block. And honestly, because it's a single target, it's honestly not that great. You have bind, right, which is pretty strong, block, which seems okay. But you're way better off just having something like Noggle using her S3, ignoring effect resist, and putting it on everyone. So I think the S3 kind of was made to counter Janua's passive here because it does work on Janua. But, out of that, she doesn't really do anything else. Next we have her S2. So her S2 is a 2 debuff cleanse from an ally. And then we'll CR push them by up to 50% and you get an extra turn. So basically the way she works is you're going to S2 an ally here. And then you're going to S3, I guess, like Janua, and then that ally will actually just one-shot them and not proc his passive, basically. So it makes it so that you can actually get rid of Janua's very easily. And I think Smilegate saw that Janua kind of was destroying the meta. Very strong unit, right? Very overpowered, I'd say, honestly. And they kind of just wanted to design a unit that can counter him. And there are some counters already, right? You guys know that Stun's pretty good against him. Like even like I Winter, who was not that great in the past because Janua shot up in popularity, I guess, right after his release. I Winter also kind of followed suit because she can lock down Janua. But they decided to make Birgitta kind of that Janua counter because you can bind his S2 CR push and you can also block the rage effect. So yeah, kind of interesting kit. It doesn't really make sense, right? The S2 and S3 literally make no sense for each other. She looked like to be like a debuffer. Now she has like a cleanse and a CR push. And then we have even her S1 being a CR pushback. And honestly, I think her S1 is pretty strong because you can push back CR of a single target by up to 30% if they're blocked, which is pretty insane. But you can only apply block with your S3. And the cooldown is super, super long. Your S1 doesn't even have a chance to actually land block, which makes it so that, after you actually get rid of Janua, she is literally useless. She just sits there S1ing. And I guess you can see her push every 3 turns, but she just seems like a very, weird unit that has only one use, which is killing Janua. So overall, I think, she's not that great of a unit. She's pretty mid. Her designs look amazing, obviously. We can talk about this all day, but it's kind of sad because it feels like they wasted this design on such a crappy unit. Like, you would expect her to be very strong with this design, but in practice, she's just very weak, right? If they made her S3 AoE, obviously she'd be a lot better. Honestly, probably broken, similar to how Noggle is. But even then, there's so many answers to Janua. I don't really know why they decided to make a unit specifically to counter Janua. He is not really a problem, I'd say, but he's definitely threatening in the meta. But there are ways to deal with him, and just by, like I said, wasting this design on her feels very bad because her kit is just all over the place. It doesn't really make sense, and she just doesn't really seem that strong. So yeah, that's that. Also, if we talk about her artifact, basically solely for artifact, if you use a non-attack skill, you can get souls, and you can actually get up to 20. The thing is, you don't actually have to have this maxed on her. I think you need only plus 21. And the reason is your S2 will actually give you, I believe, 1 soul, I believe, right? Yeah, so you get 1 soul already, so you actually don't even need this maxed. I don't even know what you need to actually get this off. I think it's plus 27, I think, or something, plus 24, something like that. But anyways, yeah. But, it would be nice to have this maxed out. It kind of sucks that this actually scales with, the levels. Kind of makes it so that to get full value from this, like some other artifacts, you want this maxed out. But anyways, this artifact is pretty good for her, obviously, because you can, 100% land this. The only thing is, it's just really weird because you don't even need to run this on her, mostly because of the fact that when you're actually S3ing a target, you're most likely going to be S3ing a damage dealer, right? And most damage dealers don't really have effect resist built in, so you don't really even need to soul burn this unless you want to, dodge any chance of getting resisted by 15% and stuff like that. So even though this artifact is nice, it just feels kind of bad on her as well. I mean, it probably is her best artifact, but I've seen people run her on like Celestine and other things like that because she generally is very fast and you see a lot of value with it. But yeah, this artifact, I don't even know if it's like a must-have. I think just having one copy is fine if you purchase it, because who knows, maybe you want to, use Amelia someday or a mid someday, which it's very good on, and then you can actually just, put that on them. Now the thing is, even though it is good, especially for buffing Soul Weavers, right, aggressive ones, you can always just use an artifact that, this one, right, that a mid uses, right, after using a non-attack skill twice, which is basically also BIRGITTA. You will actually start push another ally and give them critical hit damage. So, it's not even required to actually have this artifact. But overall, I think this banner was kind of a fail. I think this unit is pretty bad. The artifact, it's okay, but I don't think it's like game-breakingly good like Togglehell's Ancient Book. The reason why Togglehell's Ancient Book is so good is because a lot of mages really rely on their own soul burn to actually function, and they're kind of balanced around the fact that they can hold Togglehell's. So, it makes it so that a lot of units kind of need Book to work, whereas Soul Weavers don't really need to soul burn a lot of the time. A lot of Soul Weavers, soul burns are not that great. So you're pretty much bringing this for another unit most of the time, and honestly, if that's the case, you're way better off using a different artifact, just because usually soul burns only really are super strong on mages and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this unit and this banner. I personally think it was pretty much like a waste of resources. Honestly, I don't think she's like the worst unit in the game, but if I had to give her like a point system out of 10, I'd probably give her like a 3 or a 4. Sure, she looks amazing, but it's really hard to use her outside of Guild Wars offense, and you can only really use her into Januas. And in Guild Wars offense, if you're fighting a Janua, you already have so many answers, right? AI is super easy to deal with, and you literally just stun the Janua, right? So yeah, not too sure what you guys think about this unit. Let me know in the comments down below. I think she's very bad, so yeah, I'm just curious about what you guys think.